PCSS Connection Podcast. I'm your host, Buddy Pearson, the Communications and Marketing Supervisor here in the Putnam County School System. And, you know, we love to spotlight our students and their accomplishments. And we've got a young lady who, you know, she just continues to be impressive academically. Hope Roberson, a senior at Cookeville High, is with us. And Hope, I'm going to brag on you for a second. So just sit here and smile and just, you know, kind of take it all in. So back in the spring, Hope made a perfect score on the ACT exam. That's starters. Now, we just found out that she is a semifinalist in the 2024 National Merit Scholarship Program. I mean, it's kind of been a pretty good run for you so far, hasn't it?
Yes.
Yes. All right, well, let's talk about the ACT score. First of all, what is a perfect score?
A 36.
A 36. Mm-hmm. And you made a perfect score.
Yes.
Yeah. When you're taking the ACT, did you know it's like, oh, yeah, I got this. I've aced it. It's a perfect score.
I felt confident, but I did not expect a 36 at all.
Okay.
I was not prepared for that.
So when you found out, what was it like?
Well, I remember sitting in my parents' bedroom when I got the email that the scores were out, and so my dad and my sister were in there, and I opened the email, and my jaw just dropped. I didn't say a word, and I just kind of sat there, and I was like, this can't be real.
Yeah.
I can't believe it. And so we had a little celebration in there, but and then I called my mom. So yeah, it was very, what's the word I'm looking for?
Surreal.
Yes, it was surreal. It felt like an out-of-body experience, kind of.
Well, now, over 1.3 million juniors in about 21,000 high schools entered this National Merit Scholarship Program by taking a test. The nationwide pool of semifinalists representing less than 1% of U.S. high school seniors includes the highest scoring entrants in each state. So here again, you must have done really well on this test to be in like the less than 1%.
Yes, it wasn't a perfect score, but
Okay.
it was up there.
So tell us about the National Merit Scholarship. What is that, and what made you want to, I guess, pursue that?
Yes, so the National Merit Scholarship Program is it's a program where students can get college and corporate and company-sponsored scholarships from all different places, and so you qualify for that by taking the PSAT your junior year. And so I already knew kind of about National Merit before I took the PSAT, so I was really studying hard to make a high score because I really wanted that scholarship.
So you studied for this?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I did.
Yeah. It's not like you just showed up with a pencil
No.
and said, hey, I'm going to ace this.
No, yeah. I took a 4 weeks study course where
Okay.
I had an online class every Sunday for a couple hours and took some practice tests, so that was very helpful.
Studying does pay off.
Yes. Yes.
And so now, I mean, there's like $28 million worth of scholarships. And I guess they'll narrow it down from semifinalists to finalists. When do you find that out, or what's the process for that?
So I have to fill out an application, and so I have to get recommendations, write an essay, and all those things. And then I'll find out in, I think, February if I'm a finalist, and then I'll find out if I actually get money in March, April, May.
Oh, nice.
So,
yeah.
Yeah.
We'll certainly keep our fingers crossed that you're going to get some money.
Yes, that's the goal.
Well, tell us about being at Cookeville High School. I mean, what's your favorite subject?
Oh. I've always liked most subjects. I just don't like math.
Don't like math?
Yes.
Wow. Okay. So then what are you going to do when you grow up? What is it that you want to do?
I've been looking into nursing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and so I'm actually starting a job at a local doctor's office in a couple weeks. So hopefully get a feel for what it's going to be like to be a nurse.
Oh, well, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So do you know where you're going to go to college?
I've applied to 3 places, Lipscomb University
Yep.
in Nashville,
Right.
Tennessee Tech, and Harding University in Arkansas.
Oh, wow.
That's 6 hours away, but
Yeah. Well, we're rooting for Tennessee Tech. I mean, just saying. They got a pretty good nursing program over
They
there.
do.
They have
They
a
do.
really good nursing program. And we were talking a little bit earlier off camera about you have come up through the Putnam County school system. Where did you start out?
yeah, so I went to Alga Elementary and
Okay.
Alga Middle, and my mom was a teacher there actually, so I've just kind of always been around.
You know, you see and you hear, you know, people's academic success, but what do you think has been the key for you? I mean, obviously you're a very intelligent young lady, but have you always studied? Did you always, you know, do your homework? And I mean, was there anything, you know, and it looks like you put a lot of time and effort into it as well. Have you always been that way?
Yes. In my household, my parents have always encouraged me to do my best.
Okay.
And whether that was all A's or whether that was A's and B's, as long as I was doing my best and I was really putting in the effort, then they were proud of me, you know. And so I've just always had the drive to succeed, I guess.
Yeah, and that's awesome. And then what's your high school career? I mean, you're a senior now. I mean, just think, in a few months, 6, 7 months, you're going to be, getting that diploma. High school is going to be over with.
Yeah.
Are you enjoying your senior year?
Yeah, it's been fun. It's been a little crazy, a little overwhelming, but it's been fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you see these things, perfect ACT and National Merit Scholarship, is it sinking in that, okay, my high school career is coming to an end, and then all of a sudden, some of these things are going to really help me when I get into college?
Kind of. It still doesn't feel like I see perfect ACT score on the paper, but I don't feel connected to that really. So, well, I guess I see them more as a tool to get to where I'm going, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if all 3 colleges come back and say you're accepted to all 3, which one are you going to pick? Putting you on the spot here.
Yeah, it kind of depends on how the money works out.
Oh.
I kind of want to go to Harding just because, I actually went to a summer camp there this summer, and it was an amazing experience, and so
it's
I really
a nice
loved
school.
it.
It is, but it is 6 hours away.
Yes. Excuse me. Yes.
So tell us about your family. You said your mom was a teacher.
Yep. So my mom taught at Ogden Middle for a few years. She was an English teacher.
Okay.
And my dad works at Averett. He is a digital media specialist. He makes e-learning courses.
Oh, nice.
And I have one younger sister. Her name's Eden.
Okay.
She is 2 years younger than me. And we have a little dog named Josie.
So now is Eden, is she smarter than you? Because, usually the youngest siblings, they're the ones that really thrive.
Possibly. She probably is. She's much more creative for sure.
Really?
Oh, yes.
All right, so obviously you study a lot, but when you're not studying, what do you like to do?
Well, I'm very involved in choir and musical theater. So right now I'm actually in the process of, I'm the lead in Cinderella.
Oh, really?
So,
that's awesome.
yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Now, are you in the Cookeville High Choir?
Yep.
Are you going to be trying out for Les Mis?
Yes.
Okay. Because Les Mis is coming. I mean, everybody's excited. Les Mis is
I'm
coming
really excited
back.
about that.
Yeah, that's going to be cool.
Yeah. And I'm also really involved in my church and my youth group, and I love helping out there. So.
Awesome. Well, it just seemed like you're a very well-rounded young lady, and congratulations on your success, your academic success, and we wish you nothing but the best. And thanks for being with us on the PCSS Connection.
Thank you.
Now it's time to take a trip up the mountain to Monterey High School, where Haylee Garthwait sat down with Wildcat head football coach Scott Hughes. Let's take a look.
Hi, I'm Haylee Garthwait, and this is Coach Hughes of Monterey football. So how long have you been teaching here at Monterey?
This is my 10th year at Monterey, 17th overall.
Okay. Where were you before this?
Before coming to Monterey, I spent a semester at Byersdale Elementary in Lebanon. I taught there. I graduated in December, and I got a job in January there. And then at the end of that school year, I had the opportunity to come to Cookeville High School and teach and coach at my alma mater and work with my high school football coach. And so that was a great fit for me to come back home and get to work with Coach Joslin, and spent 7 years there, and then made the move to Monterey.
What was your favorite subject when you were in school?
Favorite subject, obviously because of being an athlete, it was strength and conditioning. I really enjoy the aspect of developing as an athlete and seeing the gains that you make in that regard, and that's one of the reasons why I love teaching strength and conditioning now so much, because I see the development of our athletes, and hopefully I get to be a helping hand in guiding them to become better athletes.
Is there anything you do in your class that you would say is different from other classes?
I do. I like a lot of conversation. I have a lot of conversation with our students and ask a lot of open-ended questions to kind of force them out of their comfort zone, so that they've got to speak and they've got to talk to others and they've got to listen to others' thoughts. And sometimes it leads to a little bit of a debate on what everybody likes or what everybody dislikes. But it's a little bit off the cuff, because we do have conversation, we do talk. It is very interactive. It's not just the standard my voice and nobody else's, and so I enjoy that because I get to see some smiles. I get to see a different side of students that a lot of times as a teacher you don't see, because a lot of times students are really shy. They don't open up around you, and our students in my class typically do open up at some point in time.
When and why did you decide to be a teacher?
I was always, a sports person, and always that was kind of in the back of my mind that I wanted to coach, and my high school coach kind of led me to that. He told me he thought I would be really successful at it, but I actually went into criminal justice first, and was within about a semester and a half of graduating when I made the decision to flip back to education. And the main thing was I wanted to be a coach. I wanted to be involved in athletics and try to help student athletes grow in their lives.
What are you doing when you aren't a teacher and football coach?
Ooh, that's a great question. My wife coaches girls basketball at Upperman High School and Upperman Middle, and my children are extremely active with athletics. So typically, if I'm not at school with our program, I am watching my wife coach, or I'm watching my daughter play basketball or volleyball, or I'm traveling with my son with baseball or basketball.
As a teacher, what are you most looking forward to this year?
Just the new challenges and new relationships. I'm probably about the only wellness teacher in our building. Mr. Buckner does some of the online, but that's probably less than 10 students. So I get to see basically all of the sophomores. I get to meet all the sophomores every year. So that's always interesting for me to develop those relationships and then follow those students as they grow through high school. Also, I love the fact that I have 2 strength and conditioning classes, and that enrollment's growing. And so being able to see those athletes come in from various sports, it's not just football, but being able to help them grow as an athlete and see the changes in their bodies and see the successes that they have is very much what I'm looking forward to.
What would you say the biggest challenge about teaching is?
There's a lot. I'm trying to think what the best one would, or what the number one. A lot of it is just society. Everybody has so many different thoughts, and being able to not necessarily mainstream those thoughts, but it doesn't matter what you do, you're going to be scrutinized at times, but you got to believe in your philosophies, and ultimately you got to put the students first, and you always put their care and their mindsets first, and you've got to understand there's going to be challenges with that, because they're not going to be interested in every topic that you have, or they may not even be interested in school. And so you got to go out and you got to create that relationship, create that bond to where they enjoy coming in your classroom.
So I'm going to move my questions more towards the coaching aspect of your career. So how do you balance coaching and teaching? Is it difficult?
It is difficult. It is difficult. Probably a little bit more difficult here than at most, because we only have one other coach in the building. And because of that, there's a lot of roles that Coach Norton and I both have to have, both as teachers and as coaches. And then our staff is really small. So a lot of people don't see the fact that not only are we teaching 7 periods a day, we're also trying to prepare not only for just one side of the football, where a lot of coaches are just offensive coaches or defensive coaches. We're actually planning for all 3, because we do have to do special teams as well. And then it's the checking grades, it's painting the field, mowing the field, doing the strength and conditioning part. There's just a lot of hats that we wear, and so it's a hard balance, especially then when you factor in your family. And so there's a lot that goes on in our day, that trying to just create that balance to get everything done, but also do it at a high level.
So how is your team adjusting to this new season, especially with losing so many seniors?
We're further ahead than what we expected as coaches. I'm really proud of our young men. We put them in a grind in the preseason with the teams that we scrimmaged and competed against, and our schedule is probably as tough a schedule as we've had since maybe 2016, somewhere in that neighborhood. And so there's been a lot of growth, and it may not be growth that people have seen, but when you go back to when we started spring practice to where we are now as coaches, we see the individual growth of each player and the group, individual groups. But ultimately, our team mindset is getting better. We're learning how to fight through adversity and fight through the challenges, and it's fun to see that growth. We're not where we need to be, but we're working to get there.
What are some qualities you like to see in your players?
Number one is work ethic. Number one, work ethic, always. The second thing is just having a really structured, really hard mindset, where you like the challenge. You like to be in adversity and grow from that. And then the third thing is leadership, and understanding that leadership is difficult, And it's something that not everybody can do. It's something that a lot of times people frown upon. And it's a very scrutinized situation. Whether you're a coach or you're a leader of a team, everything gets scrutinized by the decisions that you make. But ultimately, you're trying to make the best decision for a group and trying to get a group of people to follow you.
When you played sports in high school and college, what was your jersey number?
In high school, I wore number 72. A friend of mine, a really close friend of mine, was graduating as I was coming into high school, and at that time, seniors could pass down their jersey number, and so he passed his jersey number down to me, and that was very special to have somebody that actually wanted me to wear their number and represent them at the same time. And then when I went to college, I wore number 78. 72 was not available, but I had a family member that his number was 78 in high school, and so he was one of the few family members I had that played football, and so I wore his number because that was the connection to that.
Okay. What is your biggest goal for this season?
To grow our young men, not only in football but in life. That if they can leave our program at the end of this year a better person, a stronger person, physically and mentally, to me, that's always our ultimate goal. I always tell people my coaching philosophy is probably different than a lot. I don't always judge us on wins and losses. I judge us on the growth of the individual, and are those guys going to leave here at 18 or 19, and are they going to be better husbands and fathers? Are they going to be higher character young men, and will they have a great work ethic? And if we can do that, then wins and losses will take care of itself.
Okay, I have one more question. Do you ever get to watch your players go into college sports and grow into that aspect of college sports and honestly just into life?
I do. One of the most special things as a coach for me is the phone calls, the text messages that I get from ex-players, wedding invitations, being able to go to all those special events, or having those guys come back. Like this past Friday, I had an ex-player come back and he hugged me and he introduced me to his girlfriend who they're expecting a child, and he was telling me, just how exciting that was. But he wanted me to know, as far as college athletics, we've been very blessed in 10 years to have several young men go to college and play. We have 3 young men playing at the collegiate level right now, and so Saturdays are really special because I'm keeping up with them just like they're keeping up with us on Fridays, and so a typical Saturday is a little bit of a split screen when they play at the same time, and trying to watch 2 teams or 3 teams play at the same time, but it's really special to be able to see that. And those guys come back in their off seasons. They come back and work out with us. They come back, they train here. So it's really special for us to keep that connection as a coach and have that relationship. But it's also very special for our athletes to see, hey, this is what works. These guys put in the same time that you did, and now see where they're at. And so it's really special to have those guys come back and our younger guys be able to see that their dreams are possible.
I think that's all I have. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Thank you.
Thanks, Haylee. Welcome back to the PCSS Connection podcast. There are a lot of awesome people working in the Putnam County school system, and our guest is no exception. That's right, Diana Wood, who was a teacher and principal at Capshaw Elementary. Now she's a curriculum supervisor for pre-K to 4th grade. Diana, thanks for joining the show. And I know you've been in the Putnam County school system for a long time. How long have you been in the Putnam County school system?
I actually started teaching in Putnam County in 2014. So,
Okay.
Excuse me. Do we do edits in this? Actually, that's when I became a principal. Yeah. Do we do edits?
Sure.
Okay. Actually, I started teaching in Putnam County in 2007. So it's been
Yeah,
a few
16
years now.
Yeah,
That's right.
16
Yes.
years, if my
Yes,
math
yes.
is correct.
Yes. I started my teaching career, though, in Memphis and
Okay.
then Nashville. So that was in 1993. I hate to even go back that far. But so I've been in education for a good while, but in Putnam County since 2007.
Well, that's good. And now, what do you do as the curriculum supervisor for pre-K through 4th?
So as in this role, I have the honor and the joy to really support all the elementary schools in Putnam County. So the 11 elementary schools, are under my care, along with lots of other people who support the elementary schools. And so I work a lot with the principals and assistant principals. I work deeply with the instructional coaches, the math and ELA, the pre-K coordinator. And so I have a lot on my plate, but my big focus is instruction. So classroom instruction is where a lot of my work lies.
So when you were a teacher, I guess, was there somebody that had your role or that was helping you along so you kind of know,
Sure.
What to do?
Yeah. So actually, when I started as a teacher, Barbara Greason was the elementary curriculum supervisor, and then Jill Ramsey became the curriculum supervisor. So I follow in the footsteps of a lot of great educators, and so they were there. And sometimes you don't always see that direct touch from the supervisor, but it comes through your admin in the schools and your instructional coaches. I try as often as I can to get into the teacher meetings when they're having PLCs. That's my favorite thing. My very favorite thing is to be in the classroom.
Yeah, I was going to say, do you miss being in the classroom?
I do. I really do. I love going in the classrooms. I'm not sure that all the teachers love to see me when I come into the classroom, but please know, and I've told them as many times as I can, I'm really watching the students and seeing what the students are doing, and I love being around kids. I have found that it's a little different when they don't know you, so I do miss that relationship with the kids.
Well, I recall you were a pretty good teacher when you were at Capshaw because you had a young lady in your classroom. Well, check out some of these pictures here that I pulled. This is from...
Oh, I had a very special Wonder Kid. We
Yeah,
were Miss Wood's Wonder Kids back
yes.
then.
2011, that is the Cougar Run. That little fourth grader, of course, is my daughter, Savannah. But I know you had a big impact on her because she is at UT right now, studying to become an elementary education teacher, and she wants to teach at Capshaw.
Well, I love that, and I hope she gets as much fulfillment out of teaching as I have, because it has been a wonderful career for me.
When you see students come back, and maybe you have seen some of them come back as teachers, how does that make you feel?
Oh, I love it because number one, it makes me feel like maybe they saw the joy that I had, and I truly did and love being in the classroom. But it's kind of like a pay it forward, and I hope that, the ripple effect, and I hope their students, get that from them as well.
Now, I know you don't spend all your time meeting with teachers and doing all the things, so what do you do in your spare time?
Well, in my spare time, which is, I don't have a lot, but I'm an avid reader, so I do love to read. I love to spend time with my family, and I love to travel.
Yeah. Well, tell us about your family.
So I have 3 children, and I have one wonderful husband who is a physician here in town. My 3 children are young adults at this time. I have my oldest, Izzy, is in Nashville, and she's a behavioral therapist. And then my middle child, Annie, is actually moving to Dallas tomorrow, and so she is working for a personal stylist. And so that should be fun. And then my youngest is Sam, and he is a junior at the University of Alabama.
Yep. How about that? I know. Yeah.
We didn't raise him that way, but he is loving it, and we're enjoying following along too. So.
Well, when you look at education now and kind of how it's changed over the years, and you're in the classroom, you see elementary school teachers every day. What do you think that would help elementary school teachers the most? What is it that they need the most? Whether it's support, whether it's curriculum stuff. What do you think it is that they need the most to be successful?
I think that. They just need that love for kids. If you're a teacher and you don't think that you don't have that joy, that's the first thing you need, because they're going to feel that from you.
Right.
And then the next thing, I think one of the big helps is to have those deep relationships with your students. So try to get to know them, develop those relationships, and then it doesn't cure every problem, because we know there are some big problems out there right now in our society with kids and families.
Right.
So, but it sure does help when they know you care about them and their families know that you care about them. And, we spend so much time on instruction, but you can get that instruction taught so much easier when you have those so strong relationships.
Yeah, that's good. That's really good.
And I do want them to know that we are at the district level and at your school level, your admin, your coaches, we're really there to support them and to make the experience valuable for students. And so it's all about support. It's not about gotcha and we caught you or those kinds of things. We certainly don't want teachers to feel that way. We really want to have a supportive environment in Putnam County.
We see where there's been kind of a teacher shortage, or here there's a teacher shortage. What does it take, do you think, for for people to get back into the education, for them to want to teach again?
Sure. Well, I think our district is moving in the right direction there, because I do think, unfortunately, people have to live, and so salaries is a big part of that. And so you want to have be able to offer a wage that is, marketable. But I think we kind of need to change the narrative in education and try to find that joy again in the classroom, because when students, as they're graduating from high school, when they are not, when they're hearing from their teachers, don't go into education, no way, no way, that of course they're probably going to think twice about that before they major in education.
Sure.
And so, we just, I hope we can just find that joy in knowing that the teaching profession is so valuable, and it's a game changer for kids. Education is truly the ticket out of certain circumstances, and if you have great circumstances, it's a ticket to a great future. So, education is the most important job, I think.
Well, we had a student on here from Cookeville High School that made a perfect ACT score, and now she's a semifinalist for the National Merit Scholarship, and she has come through the Putnam County system.
Yeah.
So we have seen what, there are successes out there.
Sure. And we have some wonderful teachers that are leading the way.
Yeah.
That student couldn't have done that without some fantastic teachers along the way.
Absolutely. Diana Wood, she is the pre-K through fourth grade curriculum supervisor here for the Putnam County School Systems. Thank you so much for being with us on the PCS Connection podcast.
Thank you.
All right, and that's going to do it for this week. We appreciate you tuning in. God bless. We'll see you next week.